Meet winter bean. So every winter, bean puts on a lot of weight and grows a very thick, luxurious coat. He looks a bit like a squash or a bowling pin, even with this big old belly of his. But it's so cute. He also sleeps a lot more in the wintertime. And then come summer, he will skinny up into a little string bean real quick. It's kind of amazing. Like right now, he can't fit through a chain link fence, but in the summer, he can. In the summer, he can fit under the door in this room. In the winter, he can't. So cute. I think this video is going to be really casual and very rambly and all over the place because I don't know when I'm going to film a video next, and I'm kind of prepping just in case I don't get to it before the year's over. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you all for being here so much. I really, really do appreciate it. I love making YouTube videos. It's been really fun for me. I do kind of consider it a job, but it's also a hobby, and I approach it a little bit more casually than I think really serious YouTubers, but I love filming. It brings me a lot of joy. I never have announced this, but kind of in my head, I post videos every Wednesday and Friday. That's the routine that I try to apply myself towards. So I don't know when I'm going to be posting next. Like I said, I want to take a little break for the holidays. Already rambling a ton. I need some coffee. I don't know how I managed to forget my coffee. Okay, where should I begin? Let's begin with my journal setup. So this is kind of exciting because I have not used a journal cover in so long. And here we go. We have a journal cover. This one is from Etsy by a maker by the name of Stride Ridge. And this is particularly made for the Moleskine Expanded Notebook. Now, I know that's quite a commitment to buy a cover for a notebook that is so inconsistent, and you never know if you're going to get lucky with a fountain pen friendly paper or not. But I wanted to take a chance because I have enjoyed writing in this Moleskine Expanded Notebook so much. Now, I know there are plenty of fountain pen friendly notebooks on the market, and I have tried most of them at this point. But it's a very personal thing, and also depends on that particular moment in time. Sometimes I feel like writing in a really small notebook, and sometimes I feel like writing in a really large notebook. Sometimes I want grid paper, sometimes I want lined paper. So it really just depends on my mood. And right now, my mood is digging everything about this Moleskine Expanded Notebook. So I made the commitment, I bought a cover for it, and I bought a second Moleskine Expanded Notebook. Now, first of all, let me just point out some things about this cover. This has a little pocket in the front. I glued in a pen loop from Chic Sparrow that I got a long time ago. I have been using my Kaweco Brass Sport a lot lately. I know it's so silly. I made this whole video about ink carrying capacity of pens, and trust me, it's something that I think about a lot, and I really prefer in my head to have a pen with a lot of ink capacity, but this Brass Sport is just, it is my favorite pen. I love this pen so much. There's just something so charming, but also really tactile and comforting about having it. Even when I'm not using it, I tend to, I tend to actually keep it in my wallet if I'm not using it. So I always have it with me, and it just tucks in really neatly in the pocket of this wallet here, which I've talked about as well. And it has like chapstick and nail clippers and my little, what is this called? Swiss Army knife, and extra cartridges that I have refilled, and right now they're plugged up with these little brass plugs that I got years ago, and I forget where, but that way you can refill cartridges and then plug them up so they can be stored and they won't leak. And I'm using the Ferris wheel press steeped umber, which is a really lovely color. It's my first Ferris wheel press ink, actually. See, this is all over the place. Told you, this is gonna be a really rambly video. I got completely derailed. But anyways, I digress. Love this pen. Fits very nicely in my wallet when I'm not using it as a regular, everyday writing pen. But for now, because I have been writing with it so much, it just sits in that little pen loop. And there's a lot of space on the side here that it felt like a pen could be nicely tucked without sticking out too much. So that is the one thing that I do wish this notebook had come with, was a pen loop, but it didn't matter in the end because I was able to pop in one myself. Also, this notebook I have been writing in since October 31st, and because I use the back pages as well for very random things like keeping track of game score or playing with pens, ink explorations, and so on and so forth, I have this many pages left, which I think will take me into January. I'm like 90% sure it will take me into January. But I have used this notebook way more than I expected to. When I first got it, I did the math because I was like, well, I average about 2.5 pages a day and blah, blah, blah. If that, that'll take me into April because there's 400 pages. No, I don't think it will take me that far. So got another Moleskine expanded. This time, this one came out of a local Barnes and Noble bookstore. And it was, of course, a gamble because you don't know what paper you're going to get until you open it up, because it is packaged. And it actually doesn't say expanded anywhere on this paper, but on the sheet that it came in, there was a little sticker that said expanded notebook. I have an Instagram friend by the name of Scientifically Engineered that has done a little experimenting of her own with many, many Moleskine journals that she has had over the years. And her conclusion, or her theory, is that all of the Moleskine journals that have this blue quality control sticker are fountain pen friendly. In fact, I will input some of her pictures right now. So as you can see, all of the other color quality control stickers were not fountain pen friendly paper. My current journal came with a blue sticker. This one had a blue sticker. They show up in the back pocket of the notebook. And so when I pulled that out, I was like, this is a really good sign. I think we can almost count on this being a fountain pen friendly paper. But of course, the ultimate test is to do a little writing sample. And I am very happy to report, voila! It is very fountain pen friendly. It's the same paper that I am currently rocking in my journal. And so that makes me very happy because this is the journal I will be using entering into 2023. I had to think about what year it's going to be. I've been calling this year 2023. All right, switching things up. Currently reading this book, The Disappearing Spoon by Sam Keane. It is True Tales of Madness, Love, and the History of the World from the Periodic Table of Elements. And oh my gosh, this book is fantastic. For me, it's been quite a page turner. I look forward to reading it. I have a hard time putting it down. I wish I had more time to just sit there and eat all of this information up. It's really fascinating. It's basically, he goes through the periodic table of elements and picks and chooses a handful of elements to share a story about, or the history of how they were discovered, or what they do and their chemistry. And it's just really, really interesting, and it's written like an adventure. It's just such an adventure going through history with the periodic table of elements. So highly recommend that if you have a curiosity for the world, I think, a love of history and science, or adventure. I think this book could appeal to a wide variety of people with different interests. It's just been fantastic. In other news, I have been working on a knit hat for a Christmas present for somebody. And I don't think that they'll see this video, but just in case they do, I'm not going to mention it. And I'm almost done. I only have a couple more days and I'm like, I hope I can finish this. But I love this pattern. It's from Pearl Soho, and it's just like classic ribbed hat. And it makes for a very small knit that is stretchy but dense, and so it's very, very warm. It's also a really long hat. It's made to be worn as a very slouchy beanie, or you could fold up the bottom as a cuff and have like a double layer around your ear, which I think is really nice. And so anyways, I am now in the stage of working through the crown and making all of my reductions, and so it's kind of a mess at the moment. Double pointed needles are simple, like the idea and how you use them, but they're still kind of clunky and feel very awkward. So even though I'm getting smaller and smaller, it still feels like it's taking me a while because this form of knitting just feels very awkward. I started off with just knitting in the round with 2 needles and a cable. And so these ones feel a lot more awkward in my hand, but I'm almost done. It's super soft. This is a wool cashmere blend. It's been fun knitting again. I haven't knit in a few years, and poor Brian, I made him my first hat in maybe 3 years, and so it was kind of messy. I also made it during the height of my COVID sickness when I was actually really feverish, and I made so many mess ups, but he still wears it. Thank you, Brian. Another thing that I wanted to talk about randomly were knives. I actually am a big fan of knives, believe it or not. And I use them a lot in my work when I'm doing renovation. It's just really helpful to have a knife handy because you never know what you're going to need to use it for. Now, granted, these are not the most ideal for that kind of work. I actually have a little X-Acto knife, folding knife, but I didn't bring that out because it's nothing special. But anyways, they come in handy. And then also when you're out hiking and camping, they come in handy for a variety of reasons. They also are great for opening boxes. And so if you have to pick up a package at the post office and you're impatient like me, you just want to open that box in the car, and having a little knife on handy is handy. So my first knife here is an Opinel. This, I believe, is a number 8. Yes, a number 8 with the stainless steel blade. And these are also known as like the little picnic knives. And this one was given to me by a friend a couple of years ago, and it has been still my favorite knife. I love the size of it. I love the blade. It's very, very thin, and it can slice through anything. I mean, it's a great apple cutter, but it's also fun to just like do some random whittling with, just because it is so thin and slicey. And I just really love this little knife. So that's my Opinel. Then Brian gave me this knife, which is beautiful. It has a great handle and my camera is like having a hard time focusing right now, much thicker blade. This one it's actually very thick on the end. And I have used this one for a lot of whittling, in fact, and also other things. I have gone on a couple of hunts now at this point in time, and this has been a really handy knife to have out in the field. And then I received this knife as just a casual gift from Brian's brother, who has been forging knives. This was one of his very first knives, and he was just giving them away at a family dinner because they were like his experiment knives. This one I hang on my wall. It's actually just like become an art piece because it's special. It's one of his first knives that he forged by hand, which is amazing. Then he gifted me this knife. I think it was for my birthday. So this one is desert ironwood with a Damascus blade, and it's just, and he even has his little artist stamp now, because he's very professional now at this point, and he's made so many knives and so many different styles. Has a nice little like swoop here. It's very, very comfortable to hold. So this tends to be the knife that I like to take when I'm out hiking around, backpacking, camping. It's just a great kind of like all around bushcraft knife, dare I say. I don't really know anything about bushcrafting, but it's a word I hear tossed around, so I'm gonna toss it around too. Anyways, and that I usually have strapped to my backpack. It's a beautiful knife, really beautiful knife. The Opinel still is the one that I have with me all the time, just because it's very compact and I can just toss it in my purse, whereas this one is a little bit more, I don't feel comfortable walking around town with a knife hanging from my belt or my backpack. So this one just comes out with me when I'm doing hikes. Now the last knife I have to share is also a Logan made knife. He's the one that made this knife here and this knife here. I'll post his Instagram information down below if you are interested in buying a knife, having a beautiful handmade knife. This one, unfortunately, for Brian and I, does not belong to us. This is a commission that we requested of him to make for some family for Christmas. Also, not going to say who, just in case they watch this video. I don't think they will, but it's a Damascus blade with a beautifully shined, look at the shine on this. It's like marble. This is also ironwood, Arizona ironwood, which is really cool. And it's just got a beautiful shape. I love the balance. I love the size of this handle in comparison with the blade. It's just a little bit longer and it just feels really nice and comfortable in the hand. So this is going to be a pairing knife for their kitchen. And it also, like I said, has Damascus on it because the people who are receiving this knife are a really big fan of the Damascus. It's just beautiful. It's really interesting. And his stamp here, his artist stamp is there as well. This is just a gorgeous knife. And it's hard to say goodbye to this knife because I want to use this in my own kitchen, but I know the people who will be receiving this are just going to fall madly in love with it and hopefully use it. Hopefully not covet it so much that they're like, we can't use this. We need to put this in a glass display case. Also, the other pen that I have been using a lot this year, because I did take a break from fountain pens for a little while, is my Schaefer Oversized Balance. And when I travel with this pen, I always travel with an inkwell. And I just refilled this inkwell because I had actually run it dry. This is the Peniter inkwell. It's fantastic. I highly recommend. If you write a lot and travel a lot, it's just great to have some extra ink on hand, just in case, you could run out or the world could end. And then you're the only survivor. And the only way to keep sane is to write in your journal every day while you're also trying to survive. This is another random thing, but I just wanted to talk about the bags I have used the most this year because I really love bags. 3 of which are backpacks, and only one of which is a shoulder bag. I call this one my basket bag. And when I have lots of things to carry, like maybe a sweater or some envelopes to send off at the post office, water bottle and such, including my regular purse contents, I will grab this one. And then when I am hiking, this is the bag that I grab. I've talked about this bag before in a video. I actually have little side pockets so that you can put water bottles in the sides, which is really nice. Most of the time I don't have them because it does make the backpack a little bit bulkier, but when I'm going for very long hikes, I put them in because it's nice to have. Yeah, there's not much to talk about that, but I really love this backpack. I know it's not the most ideal There's so many like actual hiking backpacks, but I don't like any of them. I have looked, trust me, I have looked and tried and experimented, and ultimately the simple Fjallraven is my favorite. This bag I've had in my life for so many years now. I even made a video on it many years ago. This is my Coach bag, my most prized vintage thrifted find. I got so lucky with this backpack. And when I just have a little bit to carry and I'm going out of the house, like wallet and journal, I use this bag because it's nice. I don't like having to deal with things flopping around on my person when I'm out and about. So to be able to put this on my back and kind of forget about it is great. And the size is nice and it's really pretty. And last but not least is my hobo backpack that I also found at a thrift store for a really good price and I made a video about. And this one I take out and about when I have more things to carry. Like I want to carry a water bottle and I want to carry my book as well. And I want to carry maybe my knitting because maybe I'm going to walk over to a coffee shop and work on my knitting. Just, things like that when I want to carry more. Plus what I always carry in my purse. This is the bag that I take. And right now, this time of year, our weather, we have huge temperature swings from day to night, unless if it's cloudy, but generally we could have 30-degree temperature swings. So you wake up in the morning and it's 30 degrees out, but by mid-morning it's 60 and sunny and that just feels hot. And so it's nice to be able to shed a layer and store it in a backpack. I think that was everything I wanted to talk about. This is so random. I get very cold hands, and I also am obsessed with winter clothes. I love winter clothes so much, and my goal, I'm thinking of taking a 3-day course on knitting socks. It's like a one-on-one, in-person, private lesson for an hour at a time, I think, to learn how to knit socks, and I kind of want to do that. And maybe one day I can make my own gloves. I did not make these, but these are my current favorite gloves for the winter because most of the time I don't need full coverage, so it's nice to have my fingers available. I do wish the thumbs were available as well, and I'm kind of, if I ever get up the courage to modify these so that I can pop my thumbs out, that would be great. And then of course you can cover and make little mittens if you need the extra coverage. So that's really it. Super rambly, random video. I hope to see you all soon, and I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. And thank you again for being here and watching and commenting and supporting and doing all the things that really encourage me and inspire me to keep making videos. I'll see y'all later. Bye.